Hi everyone, this is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I am live to take your U.S. immigration questions. So if you have an immigration related question, then go ahead and start putting your questions in the comments right now. I know if you're going through the process, you've been through the process, you're thinking about going through the process, that you have immigration questions that you would like to ask. And so I'm here to answer those questions for you tonight. So as a formal introduction, I'm U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I help clients to get their green cards and status in the United States. If you would like to learn more about me, you can go to the link in my bio that will take you to the website. I do have after hours receptionist who answers the phones around the clock. So if you want to call now and schedule a consultation or get in touch with me, you can do so by calling 561-405-4889, or you can use the contact form on the website, and we will get your information and the scheduling coordinator will get back to you on the next business day. So I want you to go ahead, put your questions in the comments. I will go ahead and answer your questions. I usually come with a topic to talk about, and I'm going to touch on how to fix your immigration status while you're in the United States. And if you can't fix it while you're in the United States, how can you fix it in another ways? There are another way to fix it, and yes, there is. So while I am talking about my topic, feel free to put your questions in the comments or use the Q&A option, because at the end of the day, I am here to answer your questions, and your questions are my priority. So don't hesitate to put your questions in the comments even while I'm talking, and as soon as I spot your question, I will stop talking to answer your question. So how do you fix your immigration status in the United States? And hi there, Jaheem. The main way to fix your status in the United States is usually through family relationship. And so I'm going to talk about those ways. So if you have a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse or parent, that's one way. I'm going to talk about that a little later. So Zuma Booma, how long does it take for a sibling to file for you? Right now, a minimum of 14 years. In Mexico, it's 22 years. So it's, hi there, Queen Bee. It's nice to see you. So if you are the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, and that means you're the spouse of a U.S. citizen, you're the parent of a U.S. citizen who's 21 and up, or you're the son or daughter who's under 21 and unmarried of a U.S. citizen, and you came into the country with permission or with a visa, then you can apply for the green card while being in the United States. Are there other ways to live in America? Absolutely. There are multiple ways. I could spend hours talking about that. So if you are thinking of a particular way that I'm not talking about, you can either ask on here or you can schedule a consultation and we can go through your options. Because there are so many ways and it really depends on your particular circumstances. But I'm 19 but would like to leave and live in America. So definitely, Jaheem, if you would like to live in the United States, it really depends on what are your family relations. Do you have an employer that's willing to sponsor you? Do you have, other qualifications that can get you here? So if you go to my website, go to the link in my bio, and you would be able to go to the website. You can find the phone number there, and it's 561-405-4889. You can also go to the link in my bio. You can find the phone number there, or you can also look at my videos, and the phone number is plastered all over my videos as well. So great questions. Keep your questions coming, because that's why I'm here. I'm here to answer your questions. In the meantime, I'm talking about how to fix your status in the United States. And if you can't fix it while you live in the United States, then is there an alternative? And I'm going to talk about that alternative. Can any employer sponsor you, regular LLC? It depends. So that is a very broad question, and it depends. So it depends on the need of the employer. What are your qualifications? What are the goals of the employer? How will it affect the United States? And so my advice would depend on your particular circumstances. How much does it cost to go through the legal process? So that varies, because you have to think about application fees, and it depends on what type of application you're applying for. What you can do is go to uscis.gov, and if you look at the different options, eventually that can lead you to the application fee to pay for that particular process. Do you help with immigration for the United States? So Divine G, I am a U.S. immigration attorney. I live for that. Could you list the 3 easiest ways to live in the United States? So the top 2 the top one is going to be through family. The second one is through an employer. Can I register my baby as a U.S. citizen born in America, in Jamaica? His dad is a citizen. That could be possible. It depends on what the particular circumstances are in regards to the father. So keep your questions coming, because that's why I'm here. I'm here to answer those questions. And so far, these are all great questions. And there's no such thing as a dumb question. So feel free to ask any question. That's a part of learning about what your options are, learning about the immigration process. So put any question that comes to mind in the comments, and I will answer those. In the meantime, I'm talking about how to fix your status in the United States. I talked about immediate relatives of U.S. citizens, that's a spouse, the parent of a U.S. citizen 21 and up, or the son or daughter of a U.S. citizen who is under 21 and unmarried, who can apply for the green card while being in the United States, even if they've overstayed, if they entered with a visa. Why is it so hard to get a visa? Mainly, one thing, if you're talking about the visitor's visa, is that everyone should come with evidence to show that they have strong commitments to their country that would be able to, that would convince the officer that you would return to your home country. And so a lot of people can't show that. Young people especially, because at that stage they don't have a long-standing employer, they don't have a property yet. They may not be going to school at the same time, so it can be difficult in those cases. Christy, if you go to the link in my bio, so the link takes you to the website. So you can go just check out my profile, the bio in my profile, and click on that link, and it's going to take you to the website. Could you elaborate more about the employer sponsor? So Jaheem, it's extremely broad, and that's because the sponsor, the process depends on what type of employer, so you have professional employment-based visas, you have skilled and unskilled labor green cards, you have so many visas, non-immigrant visas, that mean temporary visas, so it all depends. And so if you have a serious option for employment in the United States, I encourage you to schedule a consultation, and then we can evaluate your options more specifically, because then I would be able to tailor it more narrowly. The U.S. Embassy is offering visiting visas now. It depends on which country you're in and the specific processes of that embassy. Right now with the COVID situation, every embassy is functioning differently. What you can do is go, and if you don't have the official website of the U.S. Embassy, you can go to Google and just say U.S. Embassy in whatever country it is, and then go to there, see if you can see news or announcements or updates, whether they have made given any updates about what they're currently doing. Is it possible for someone to live in the U.S. without any family sponsoring? Yes, so there is what's called the diversity lottery green card, and that basically allows people who have no ties to the U.S. to enter the country and become permanent resident if they're selected. How can my common law wife apply for a work permit? So Richard Douglas, it really depends on the laws of the state and whether in your state it's recognized as a common law marriage. And then you would need to move forward with the, she has her visiting visa. So in this case, visitor's visa will not qualify her to get a work permit. She's not allowed to work on a visitor's visa. Richard Douglas, if you're a U.S. citizen and you get married, officially get married to your wife, you would be able to apply for her in the United States if you're a U.S. citizen, and then she could get a work permit while she's waiting. Okay, so the site to look on is uscis.gov. So uscis.gov. What type of sickness can get you turned down when you're getting filed by your mother? So there are certain illnesses that can definitely disqualify you, or you would have to make sure that you can prove that you've been treated, and those can include sexually transmitted diseases, certain infectious diseases like tuberculosis, and even some mental illnesses that can pose a risk of dangerous risk to you as well as others. How soon does it take to get an EAD if you are in the process of AOS? It's taking about 6 to 8 months right now. Hello, Cobby. Yes, go ahead, put your question in. I am a U.S. citizen. I like to respond. So you'd like to, I think, sponsor your parents. About how long will it take? So if you're a U.S. citizen, it's taking about 18 months. And you can definitely schedule a consultation to make sure you're on the right track. Can a high school student get a visiting visa if his parents doesn't have a visa to spend holiday? Yes, that could be possible. But it depends on what your circumstances are, but it is possible to get a visa. For example, students that are visiting the US with their class, to go to Disney, those students can get their visa as individuals to travel. What can I do if my application was denied by the USCIS? Get legal advice, Cobby. Can't stress that enough. It was based on marriage but was accused of marriage fraud. In this case, that is very serious, because once you're being accused for marriage fraud, then you could be barred permanently, as well as given a notice to appear in immigration court for deportation. So, Cobby, it's a complicated issue because I would have to definitely evaluate all the details. But the first thing you need to do is schedule a consultation and fix this. You can call 561-40. So my lawyer said she's not sure what to do next. If your lawyer is not sure what to do next, then speak to her about whether she can continue to represent you. So I am open for new clients, Cobby. However, because you're represented by an attorney, I cannot tell you to leave your attorney and come to me. What you need to do is touch base with your attorney first. Make sure that she is qualified to continue to represent you. And if she's not, then at that point you can determine whether you should get a second opinion or hire a new lawyer. But you need to touch base with her first. When you're doing your medical to migrate to the USA, what are they testing for? So they're testing for whether you have certain illnesses that could render you inadmissible. They're also looking for substance abuse, so drugs. Because if you do have drugs in your system, you could be labeled a drug abuser and barred from coming to the United States. So it could be a number of things, but they mainly want to make sure that you're not entering the US with any kind of disease that could pose a threat to the United States. So keep your questions coming. That's why I'm here. I'm here to answer your immigration questions. So why not take advantage and continue to put your questions in the comments. I have been touching on the topic. So my daughter has her green card, but has been in Jamaica almost a year. Can she lose it? Yes. If she's been there for over a year, there is the presumption that she's given up her permanent residence. However, if she can show Ali Wali, schedule a consultation and make sure you're on top of this. Because if your daughter can, for example, some people leave the United States and they end up getting into it. First of all, COVID, for example, look at COVID. So many people left the United States, just meant to leave for maybe a month, and ended up outside of the United States for a year because countries were shut down, traveling was put on hold, people got sick, people lost loved ones. So if your daughter got caught up in a situation like that, then there is a way to come back to the United States and get back her green card. So keep that in mind. Thank you for your help. I'll reach out to her first after the conference. Okay, great. Yes, do that, and definitely just make sure that you cover yourself and get help on this. If your lawyer is unable to help you any further, continue to figure out who can help you, and should you become unrepresented, I can help you with that. What are some of the stuff they look for in the diversity program you mentioned earlier? So you are selected at random, and if you're selected, they just want to make sure that you meet the qualifications in every way. First of all, a lot of people, they're here in the United States and they're here without status, and they enter this lottery and they think this is the solution. They can adjust status now. That won't be the case though. Unless you're currently maintaining legal status in the United States, you will not be able to get the diversity green card here unless you're maintaining legal status. So that's one thing. So they're going to look to make sure that if you're in the United States, that you have current status. If you're outside of the United States, they want to make sure that you don't have any disqualifying issues in your background, like a criminal misrepresentation, other immigration violations that would render you inadmissible. I just created a form and sent it to your email, Jahim. That is great. A scheduling coordinator will follow up with you on the next business day, which will be Monday. Hi, please, can you tell me I applied 2019 for I-130, still no answer. I'm living in North Carolina. So Tena, if you are out of status and you have applied for the I-130, you're definitely going to want to get legal advice, because it's not as simple as applying for the I-130 and then finishing your green card process if you are in the United States without status. You cannot, if you've overstayed, you cannot just leave the country to go to the embassy and finish the green card process. If you're out of status and you are not the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, you can't adjust status. You would have to go through what's called a waiver process. So basically what I'm trying to say is it really depends on who is your qualifying relative, what is your current status, what is your age, to determine what the best way is. Because if you're going to have to apply for a waiver, it's another special application that you have to file with special evidence, and it does take a lot of work. So Tena, can't stress enough, get legal advice to make sure you're on the right path. And then the length of time it's taking depends on what relative you're applying for. So, or applying through. Just coming on, what do I need to do when I'm going for my visa? Show strong commitments to your home country. Show your job, show your relatives, show that you have property, show that you have your mortgage and debt. This is a good way to show that you have such strong commitments that you will return after visiting the United States temporarily. If I go on a visitor's visa, could I work and get sponsored? Not automatically. A visitor's visa is just for that, visiting the United States temporarily. And so to get your green card and to work, you would have to qualify specially for that. I want to apply for my visa. What can I do? What can I do? Always go small island. But I might. So it sounds like you have a house. So these are the things, show strong ties to your home country, and Amoy, and that will make for a strong visitor's visa application. I asked about being on administrative processing last week. I got my approval. Congratulations, that's awesome. Bet84, you're welcome. And for the qualifications, could I join the police force if I'm qualified? So you'll have to determine whether you want to qualify, if you would like to join the police force, if that could possibly show that, and if you're talking about applying for the police force, it would have to be in your country. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to help you with that because it's not immigration related. Amoy McFarland, I want to go and work, so you'd have to qualify. And visitor's visa will not qualify you, though, to work in the United States. Can I apply for my mom and dad with VAWA green card? So if you apply for your mom, and no, it's highly unusual that you would apply. So your mom and dad would have to be experiencing extreme mistreatment or abuse by you as the U.S. citizen son or daughter who's 21 and up to be able to qualify for the VAWA green card. And in that case, they would have to apply for their own VAWA green card. If true, you have to have a bank account. So a bank account is helpful, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not the determining factor for getting the visa. How long does it take to get a response of an RFE? So it varies right now, just because there is a backlog, it could take a couple of months. How long does a green card for myself take? It depends on who you're qualifying through, Jaheem. For example, if you qualify through a U.S. citizen sibling, that's taking a minimum of 14 years. If you qualify through a U.S. citizen parent, for example, since you're under 21 and I assume you're unmarried, then that could take about 18 months. So thank you all for your questions. Does an RFE mean denial? Independent 917? No. But at that point, an RFE, responding to the RFE on time and correctly is super important, because it's usually your last chance to show the officers that you qualify for whatever benefit you're applying for. How long does it take to get approved? I-130 for citizenship. Husband applying for his wife. So I'd say expect an 18-month to 24-month process right now. Zuma Booma, you're welcome. And thank you everyone for joining me today. What you can do is, if you'd like to schedule a consultation or get in touch with the office to schedule a consultation, you can go to the contact form by clicking the link in my bio. It's going to take you to the website. You'll see the phone number. You will see the contact form, and you can fill that out, and the scheduling coordinator will get back to you on the next business day to schedule your consultation. And what that means is that they'll put you on my calendar. Once your appointment is confirmed, we will have a discussion about your particular circumstances, and you'll get the legal advice you need to move forward. So have a good night, everyone. So married green card, how long he take? So if you married a green card holder tenor, definitely it's going to be, and if you're out of status, it's going to be a waiver process, a much more complicated process. Get legal advice. Tenor, can't stress enough. You want to make sure you know what you're getting into. And so get legal advice to make sure, because the information I'm giving you is based on general information and assumptions. It's so important to make sure you understand the process fully, and how you're going to get that green card. You could expect about a 2-year process, but with the waiver involved, if you are in the United States, you're looking at about a 2 to 3 year process. Have a good night, everyone.